Good afternoon, everyone. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act, 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. Before I proceed with my remarks, I'll make some introductions. My name is Donald Taylor. I'll be chairing this afternoon's agenda. On my far left is Ms. Natalia Popovic. On my immediate left is Ms. Laura Alderson. On my near right is Mr. Stan Komorek. And on my far right is Mr. Alex Adams. The far left end of this desk is our Deputy Secretary Treasurer, Barbara Bartosik. And in front of the panel, we have Barbara's support staff. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that applies to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. We acknowledge the land we're meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone, and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you're called on to speak. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelist when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or other panelist controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card. And those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies, as those terms are defined in the Planning Act, are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set at the bottom of the decision of the committee. Our hearing procedure is that I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda, with the exception of cases where the applicant has requested a deferral or whether there is an automatic deferral, usually due to notification issues. Those items we will deal with first and then get into the more substantive items later. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, the applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5 minutes. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of this hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address before you speak. Please also remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application, whether it be a consent or, in the case of a minor variance application, the minor variances only. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure that the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice are informed of the changes. Then, individuals, either in support or opposed to the application, will be invited to speak. Generally, we first invite speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. I will ask firstly of the panel, are there any declarations of interest for items in this time slot?
Yes.
Mr. Adams.
Declaration for 21 and 22.
We need your microphone on.
Sorry about that.
And we need reasons.
Yeah, 21, 22, and 24 due to professional relationship with the applicant's planning firm.
Okay, I will soon be inviting you to leave for a couple of items. Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer, have you received any requests for deferral or cases of automatic deferral on this time slot?
Yes, Mr. Chair, item 27 to Blaketon Road and item 29, 81 AILEEN Avenue.
27 and 29. Okay. And Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer, are there any files to be closed this afternoon? Okay. Mr. Adams, I now invite you to leave the room. And you
No,
will be...
we'll be dealing the deferrals.
Oh, yeah, stay for the deferrals. Okay. Item 27. This is an application to construct a new townhouse building. A total of townhouse units will be provided. A total of 8 townhouse units will be provided. There are 8 variances. We have this matter was originally deferred on January 29th of this year to provide the applicant an opportunity to meet with concerned community members and provide the public with proper notice. We have an MTO, Ministry of Transportation Advisory. 3 conditions from Transportation Review. Planning is okay. We received 34 letters of opposition, an additional 3 letters of opposition and additional material. Urban Forestry memo update, they're okay with the application. And a deferral request from the applicant. So, yes, so it's an automatic deferral rather than an applicant request, yeah. So let's just speak with, well, we also have a number of people in person and at home. I think we have six people either in person or at home that wish to speak to this item. Correct, Thomas?
Yes, so we have 2 that registered wanted to speak. We also have 2 that just wanted to observe, but I can call upon them to see if they want to speak instead. And we have an additional virtual, so we have 3 virtuals and then 4 in person, 5 including the agent.
Okay. So we have 1 additional virtual and the 4 in person stay the same.
That's correct.
Okay. So let's talk with Tatiana Pejovic, the agent.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good
Mr.
afternoon.
Chan.
So you're aware that through a zoning review, an additional variance was noticed as being required, and that it is not requested by you at this point?
Yes, we were informed that the additional zoning issue was identified, and a new and updated zoning notice was sent to us and to city.
Okay, so you're agreeable to deferring this? I mean, it's an automatic deferral.
Yes, we do not object.
Yeah,
We
you don't
agree.
really have an option, so.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. Now, I'm going to just ask the people that are either in the room or participating at home to tell us whether or not they are agreeable to a deferral of consideration of this item today. So my first person to invite is Michael Warren. And Michael apparently is in person. There you go, good. So just give us your name and address.
Mike Warren, 2 Blaketon Road.
Okay, so
Automatic deferral.
it has to be deferred, so
No, that's,
I have to ask.
no, it's understood.
You could say no, and I could tell you why no isn't.
No, it's
Why
all good.
no isn't the right
Understood,
answer.
understood, deferral.
Okay,
And
yeah,
we'll move
good.
on. All right, cheers.
So you'll get a new notice, and I guess we'll have a gathering like this soon again.
All right, cheers, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next in-person speaker is Helia Ralph.
Yes.
Ms. Ralph.
Hi, thank you. Sorry, I didn't catch why it's being deferred again?
It's being deferred because in the zoning department here in the city reviewed the application and noticed that there's a missing variance. So needless to say, that variance that is needed is not included in this notice. So the notice as it stands right now is inadequate.
Okay,
It has to be redrafted to include the new notice, reposted, new hearing date set, new hearing
okay,
at some point.
okay.
So, are you agreeable or not to a deferral today?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. So our next in-person person is Gwyneth McAllister. Or Ron. I guess we can hear from either or. Are you Ms. McAllister? Yeah. Okay, can you come on up, please? Name and address. Your name and address.
Pardon?
I need to hear your name.
Oh, sorry.
and
Gwen
your address.
McAllister, 2A Blaketon Road.
Okay. So if you've been following along,
Yeah.
this application needs to be deferred today due to insufficient notice. Are you agreeable to a deferral?
Yes, agreed.
Thank you. Okay. So, Thomas, when you identified 4 in-person speakers, were you including Ron McCallum?
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
that doesn't count. So we can start with the virtual now.
So there's no one else in the hearing room that came today to speak about 2 Blaketon Road, right? Good. Oh. Ah,
Sorry, that's another additional one.
Avinash Bhaskar, 1A Blaketon Road.
sorry, what's your name again?
Avinash Bhaskar. I just registered, not by the card.
Okay,
Yeah, I agree for the
talk
deferral.
to us. Are you okay with the deferral?
Sorry, what's
Yeah.
your address?
1A Blaketon Road,
Thank you.
and
Okay.
I agree for the deferral.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. And now the other people listed virtually, well, there are only two now?
So we have Irene, Sabir, and Karina virtual.
So neither of those names are here.
They are. They're all.
I have Irene Koshansky
Yep. So
and
the,
Shabir Banku.
yep. So we have two, and then an additional one's Karina Vincent. That's not on your list, but she is online.
So I can call now on Irene Koshansky?
Yep.
Okay.
Connect them now. Well, it seems like Irene has disconnected.
Well,
So-
we'll have to proceed without her then.
Yep. So we'll go to.
So we've got Gwyneth McAllister?
No. So we're gonna go to Sabir. Actually, Sabir is online right now.
Oh, yeah, Shabir, sorry.
Hello. Can you hear us? Sabir. Shabir, can you hear us? We hear some feedback. So we can't hear you right now. I'm gonna mute you again, and then let's see if that works.
Give him a few seconds, but I'd really like to proceed.
Yeah. Shabir, can you hear us? I guess we can just move forward. They're not responding.
Yeah, we have to.
Let's go to Karina Vincent now. Karina?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So who's
Hello?
this again?
Karina Vincent? Can you hear me?
Oh, it's not on the list, okay.
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, you've given your address, ma'am? Yes?
I live at 46 Blaketon Road, and I do not object to the deferral. But I would just like to say, some of us sent in letters of objection, and they were not uploaded to the city's website until we followed up. And as well, I did register to speak, but I did not get any login information. And I was told it was sent the day before the hearing. But until I reached out again at 12:20 this afternoon, I had not been sent any in. So I just want to flag that maybe city staff are kind of overwhelmed, and you'll need to see to staffing levels, because maybe other letters have not been uploaded as well, or people are waiting to hear back and have not have not been sent login information. So I just wanted to raise that with the committee.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'll just ask staff, is this possibly a case of her being outside the circulation zone? Is that why that may have happened?
No, I did get notification because I did attend the last hearing in person as well.
Okay.
But I didn't see my letter online, even though I sent it before the deadline. So then I followed up with Adam, and then he posted it. And I know the same thing happened with two other people. One who did follow up, so their letter was posted later, and then another one who did not follow up, so their letter was not posted. We were reassured that you all got the letters, but you did mention there were 34 letters of objection, and Adam told someone else that he'd received 36 letters. So I just feel maybe just more attention or more staff resources may help with this. As well, it can be a little frustrating for us because, for example, the letter from Urban Forestry about this case was only uploaded on the very last day. So we, as residents, have no chance to even review materials, have time to go through it, and then draft our responses in time. So that is a little point of frustration, too.
Okay, well, sorry about that. I guess I can just ask staff to sort of watch this carefully and closely to make sure these issues don't occur again.
Mr. Chair, if it's of any assistance, the additional materials did have the additional letters.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
we had 34 letters initially, and another 3 came in the additional materials. 37 in total.
Yes, but she's saying she
Okay, that's
submitted
good
it
to
by
know.
the deadline, and it's only because she contacted our office that it got added after. So, yeah.
So is there anything, Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer, is anything we can do to avoid this next time this comes up, or?
We need to do better.
We apologize and we'll do better next time.
Thank you.
Okay,
And
thank
if I
you.
could just request if staff reports are like uploaded a week in advance so we can go through it and then speak to points that they may raise. So say like urban forestry letter from that department or city planning or whatever it may be, it's helpful for us to be able to read them, digest them, and then get a chance to speak to them if needed. But we can't do that when they're uploaded on like the very last day. Does that make sense? Like, am I being clear here, or do you need more clarification?
So we understand that, so item is going to be deferred, so you'll have time to review anything new, and then going forward, we will make sure to upload everything when it's sent to us.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, this is something that staff is responsible for, and they will address it. We panel members aren't involved in notification rules and timing and whatnot, but staff know the protocols, and they will. They're all smiling in agreement. So you'll be happy next time.
Wonderful.
Our apologies.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks,
No
ma'am.
problem. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we've
Okay.
heard everyone, and we can consider this deferral motion that we need to wrap this
Chair.
one.
I'll bring that motion on the basis that the deferral is automatic to the extent that it's required to update the notice to include the additional minor variance. I move to defer.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. Is there a seconder for Ms. Popovic's motion? Thank you, Mr. Kumar. All in favor? Okay, the item is deferred to a later date to be determined. So we can now move on to item number 28.
29.
29. What am I talking about? 22, right? Oh, yeah, that was the deferral. Oh. And 29 is a deferral. Yes, okay. I'm back. Number 29, 81 AILEEN Avenue. Now, this is an applicant requested deferral. So the agent is Shahid Nanavati.
My name is Shahid Danavati, and my address is 1304 Woodbine Avenue, Toronto.
Okay, and you wish to defer this today?
That's right. The proposal that was previously before us, I think I'm in a similar situation because we got our zoning notice after the publication of this notice was sent to the people around. So we had a waiver sent out before, but the notice superseded the waiver, and there were certain aspects in the notice that were added as variances. So that's why we were forced to seek deferral.
That's why we recommend not using waivers.
Right. You're absolutely right. It's a lesson to learn.
Okay, panel, any questions or comments for Mr. Nanavati? No? Okay, let's hear from registered speaker Ernesto da Silva.
So, Mr. Chair, I don't see this person online. I'll refresh to just make sure. So this person isn't online currently. So there's no more additional speakers.
No. Okay, so then we can go into committee for a decision then.
believe this is another case of automatic deferral. So I'm happy to move for a deferral.
Thank you, Ms. Alderson. Is there a seconder for that motion?
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, Adam matter is deferred unanimously. Thank you. Okay, so now we can go back to the regular agenda, starting with item 21, and Mr. Adams is going to be leaving us for the next two items due to an interest. So, I just want to get my... Okay, item 21, 497 Keele Street. Yes, yeah, good point. I think we can. And we'll do all 21 and 22 together. 21's 497 Keele, 22 is 499 Keele. 21 is re-part 3. 22 is re-part 1. We have planning is okay. Yeah, I have a question here. The agent can address. It speaks to the need. This looks like a sort of a merged title situation, and they need a consent, but there's no application for consent.
That's on the delegated agenda, so it's not before you today.
Ah, oh, it's on the. Okay, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good. So let's bring up Christopher Langley is the agent.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Can you hear me okay?
Good afternoon. Yeah, if you could just speak to both of these items, and we'll make decisions on both at the end of this procedure.
No problem, and I'll try to
Yeah.
be brief.
Yeah.
My name is Christopher Langley from the Tory Planning and Management, and I'm representative for the applicant on both 497 and 499 Keele Street. And as Ms. Bartosik mentioned, the consent application is delegated authority after the minor variance applications have
Right.
deferred. So we're here today just to ask the committee to grant a technical severance to resever the parcel as the property title is merged. The LRO will merge property titles if ownership of both the adjoining properties is the same. So in this case, the semi-detached title merged, even though the property was once severed in the past. So we're just looking to reinstate the mutual property line between the semi-detached units. I'll note that there's no built form changes as requested as part of this application. We originally deferred the application as it was identified through the review that a variance would be required for the lot frontage of both parcels. And then this is post severance. The frontage was previously existed prior to zoning bylaw 569/2013 coming into effect. And then unmerging the titles as part of this will now result in the existing lot frontages being not in conformity with the zoning bylaw. So the variance is required just to bring them into compliance. The city has also requested additional land on the rear of the property to make a full laneway width, and this has also been accommodated within the plans. So in summary, the application is just to allow the consent and technical severance of the property to reestablish the two lots, and as well as grant a minimum lot frontage variance of 5.51 for the retained parcel and 5.56 for the severed parcel. So if there's any questions, I'm more than happy of answering on behalf of the owner.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Langley. Panel, questions or comments?
I'm not sure if it's a question or a comment. So ECS has advisory comments. I'm assuming there are no conditions.
Yeah, good point.
Barb, because everything already exists, so I'm assuming they're not asking for anything.
Through you,
Oh, the
Mr.
laneway,
Chair.
right.
Yeah, through use, there's also conditions that an appropriate reference plan be registered with the LRO, and then of course registered on title as part of the consent application. So there are a couple conditions attributed to it as well. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so those would only be applicable for the consent. The committee doesn't have to worry about those conditions.
yeah,
So we don't need to include that in our motion?
okay. So if we move toward approval, we'll just need the planning condition, right?
So there is no planning condition.
Oh, yeah, planning is okay.
Yeah, there's just
Yeah, yeah,
the
sorry.
widening,
It-
which
it
is
would
part of
be
the severance.
No
so-
conditions, yeah, no conditions here. So Ms. Popovic or Ms. Alderson, any questions before we go into committee? Okay, then let's go into committee. And I think, oh, sorry, I think what we should do is, we'll treat this one similar to the other one. We'll deal with two motions, and maybe whoever moves the first one can also, with a nod exchange with me, we'll treat that as a second motion.
Okay, so we're not approving the severance.
No.
That's separate. So all we're approving then is one variance per property.
Yes, that is correct.
So could someone explain to me what condition? Because I don't.
There's no
There is no
conditions.
condition.
No, no
No,
conditions. One variance, no conditions.
Yeah, okay, that's, because I'm getting two different messages from different people. So, okay, got it. So I would move approval. It's very minor for the variance for item 21.
Okay. Seconder?
I will second that.
Public, thank you. All in favor? Unanimously approved. Mr. Kamoric, would you like to make a
Yeah.
very similar motion on?
I would like to approve the one variance for item 22, no conditions.
Seconder?
I will second.
Public, all in favor? Okay, both applications 21, 20 and 21 are approved. No, 21, oh God, 21 and 22,
No conditions.
no conditions.
There's advisory comments from ECS, but that's not a condition.
Okay, we can bring Mr. Adams back and then ask him to leave again after. Much ado about not much, eh? Okay, I'm just checking this. So we'll move on. I'm just doing a quick scan on these next two. Yeah, okay. Item 23, 86 Laburnham Avenue. This is a consent application and two minor variance applications, one application for each of the proposed parts. There are 8 variances for each of the proposed parts. We have a presentation. We have development, engineering, and transportation review conditions, heritage planning conditions, there are 4. We have a Metrolinx advisory. We have initially 5 letters of opposition, and then in additional material, we received 2 letters of opposition from the Long Branch Neighborhood Association. The agent is Franco Romero. If we could invite Mr. Romero to present to us.
Romano.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Franco
Romano.
Romano, 321 Lakeshore.
Good afternoon. Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman.
Yep, good afternoon. Okay, can please proceed with your presentation?
Yes, thank you. Excellent staff. You have my slides up there. Perfect. This is the property that's located on the north side of Laburnham Avenue. It backs onto Laburnham Park. It's located at the upper left-hand side of slide number 1, where it says subject lands with a red arrow. You'll see that along that street, as well as along Elder and Evergreen, 29th Street, there are a significant number of lots that are of an undersized nature relative to the zoning bylaw. The zoning bylaw requires a minimum lot frontage of 12 meters. About 48% of the low-rise residential, detached and semi-detached on this slide are 7.62 meters or smaller. The lot fabric is one that is being reinforced by the proposal, and that includes lots that are right next door. At slide number 2, we'll see photographs in the upper, starting in the upper left, 90 and 88 LABURNHAM Avenue. These are next door to the subject site. Both are 7.62 meters. That was obviously a severed lot. Side yard setbacks are similar, 0.6 and 0.9 were approved, as well as a number of other variances related to landscaping, finished first floor, eaves, etc. 58 and 56 LABURNHAM Avenue is also 7.62 meter wide lots. So you'll see that these examples are representative of a attached garage and 2 levels of living above. In one instance, there's a roof above that. In the second instance, the second floor is built into the roof line. The proposal before this panel, and I'll come to it, is integral garage and 1 level of living above, similar to 50A and 50B LABURNHAM, the right-hand side photograph on the upper right. It's also 7.62 meter wide lot. On the bottom row, we'll see on the Evergreen and LABURNHAM, similar conditions. Bottom row of slide number 2, which will see lots ranging from 6.86 meters, 7.62 meters in lot frontage. So in terms of lot frontage, it's well represented on the street and the surrounding area. Slide number 3, I have a couple of slides relating to lot frontage. Slide number 3 shows lots that are smaller than the 12 meters, just within the immediate context on LABURNHAM, the same block and the block opposite. 76% of the lots are less than 7.62 meters, sorry, less than 12 meters frontage. Slide number 4 shows lots that are 7.62 meters or smaller. This is a smaller percentage, but it's still well represented. It's between 40 and 47% of lots have 7.62 meters or smaller. Slide number 5 shows side yard setback conditions, less than 1.2 meters. This is 80% of properties. Slide number 6 shows side yard setbacks in pink that are 0.6 meters or smaller. That's represented on 40% of lots. This is slide number 6. Next slide, please, staff. Thank you. So the pink lots show the side yard setbacks of 0.6 meters or smaller. And actually, I should have shown 88 and 90 next door as pink as well. And the orange or yellow, depending on how you see that, is side yard setbacks of 0.61 to 0.92 on 27% of the lots. Those are well represented. On slide number 7, you'll see the site plan. On the left, this is the arborist site plan. There are 3 protected trees on the subject site, one of which is being affected because it's within the as of right building envelope, and that is tree number 2. The one in the regulated tree in the rear yard and the regulated tree in the front yard in the boulevard is being maintained. And there's ample space for tree planting and vegetation. There are 2 new trees that are being proposed, shown on that plan. And on the right-hand side of this elevation, on this slide, you'll see the front elevation. That's the low profile form. It's lower in height, lower in wall height than what's permitted, and it's a grade related entrance. So subject to any questions, I submit that the application is a good one with respect to the severance and the variances. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Panel, any questions or comments from Mr. Romano?
He answered the 2 I already had.
There you go. Okay, then, we have one registered speaker, Christine Mercado from the Long Branch Neighborhood Association. Ms. Mercado?
Sorry, Chair, we have Christine online. I just want to mention there's one more additional that's not on your list, but after Christine, I can connect them.
Okay.
If I could just ask staff to pull up Judy Gibson's letter as well. It's in the, I'm going to end up referring to both. Yeah, so we'll start off with the LBNA letter. So on, and if we can go to page 3 on that. Perfect, thank you. So my name is Christian Mercado. I'm the chair of the Long Branch Neighborhood Association, and we do object to this application. So as I'm listening to Mr. Romano speak, I really think the committee needs to look at what the prevailing conditions are. So we have defined the immediate context, which is similar to Mr. Romano's, and it's also in context with the official plan. So if you can go to the next slide. So in the immediate context, it's outlined in orange. There's 46 lots. And if you look at the prevailing condition, which is the most commonly occurring, those are in the sand, blue and green lots. And those are over 9 meters. So on January 31st, 2018, City Council adopted the following. So they adopted the Long Branch Character Guidelines, and they requested that the guidelines be adopted by City Council, be used by home builders, the community, city staff, committees, and appeal bodies to provide their direction and decision-making as they develop plans, review applications for redevelopment and/or enhanced public realm in the Long Branch neighborhood. And I brought up this because I think we forget about how important that the 9-meter frontages are to the neighborhood. So next slide. So in the guidelines, it states that the new severances that produce lots less than 9 meters do not meet the intent and purpose of the bylaw. The next slide. The guidelines are clarification of 4.1.5, and they state that the prevailing size and configuration of lots is a physical characteristic to be enforced. And in this case, it's lots over 9 meters. So the next slide. So 4.1.5 states that if there are significant differences between the immediate context and the broader context, the most important is the immediate context. And on the next slide. The guidelines also place what's important next door and across the street. So prevailing frontages are larger than the bylaw. And this really highlights the concentration of green lots, which are bylaw compliant, and the blue lots, which are lots that are less than 12 meters, but over 9 meters, which are said to be characteristic, a character defining characteristic in Long Branch. So next page. So then we go into the multiplex bylaw. So this is being stated as being a houseplex. So for an FSI relief. So go to the next slide, please. So the purpose of the multiplex policy is to permit multiplexes in neighborhoods, in all neighborhoods. But 826 states the prevailing size and configuration of lots should be maintained. And it goes on to reinforce prevailing setbacks, etc. So next page. It also reinforces that you should not remove a healthy tree. And it also states that you should be planting trees. So if you can go to the letter that's submitted by Judy Gibson on page 2. So this application, so back up 1, please. Back up 1. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so in the letter submitted by Judy Gibson from the LBNA for Tree Preservation and Canopy Committee, the application requires removal of a healthy, mature, protected size lilac and reducing soft landscaping and potential growing space through expanded driveways and stairs. So in conclusion, the applicant is permitted a multiplex in an RD zone. That the policy is written for that. But the multiplex policy was also written to keep the prevailing size and configuration of lots, which is over, in this case, is over 9 meters. And it also encourages the preservation of mature trees and keeping opportunities to enhance and expand our tree canopy by planting of large trees. So the severance in itself is not as of right. The removal of the tree is not as of right. The as of right footprint does not happen after the severance. Yeah, the footprint should be applied before the severance is applied. So there are opportunities to save the plantable space and still have the multiplex. So we do
You
respectfully,
just
yes,
have a
I think
few
we
seconds left, Ms.
refuse.
Mercado.
I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Panel, any questions or comments for Ms. Mercado? No? Okay, then let's invite Mr. Romano.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, we just have one additional speaker. That's
Oh,
not
yes,
on your
I'm
list.
sorry.
I'll connect them now. Hello, Priya or Raja?
Hi there. Hi.
Perfect.
Here. You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. So, thank you. We were meant to be there in person, but we decided to join virtually, so that's why we were not officially registered. So, thank you again to the committee for allowing the public to share their concerns around this new
Sorry,
development.
ma'am, we need your name and address, please.
I will share it right now. My name is Priya Aurora, and I'm at the residence at 88 LABURNHAM, which is directly adjacent to the West Lot.
Okay.
West Lot 83.
All right,
So we
go
will
ahead.
be, we were expected to be the direct neighbors of the future residents of this proposed structure in Part 1 of Plan 1572. So we did send in a letter, and in line with our letter to the committee submitted last week. Here, we just wanted to summarize our key concerns and the negative impacts to our property and surrounding neighborhood as well. That was already noted by the individual that just spoke from the Long Branch Residents Association. Based on the multiple variances requested, our first concern is around the side yard setback on our east property border. The minimum, according to regulations, is 1.2, and of course, the proposed setback in this new development is 0.6 meters. We have several issues with this and how it will directly impact us. We have multiple ventilation outlets at the first floor level, and as well, I think most notably, a quite large 5 by 5 foot second floor window in which is a primary bedroom of our son, which will directly be impacted by the property being so close. Of course, the reduced setback will reduce the natural and minimize natural light penetration coming into the home. We're concerned about the restrictions to airflow, to ventilation systems. Of course, it will increase overlook and privacy intrusion, as I noted above, most notably to the primary bedroom with the 5 by 5 window on the east side. And we are also concerned about the complications to the access for maintenance, drainage, fire safety, and of course, light and air circulation. Our second concern with the next minor variance is around the roof eaves encroachment. The minimum distance required is 0.3 meters, and the proposed distance here is 0.22. Our issues here are all around the side yard area constructed that we currently has weeping tiles. In addition to drainage pipes emptying in the area, we are concerned about the reduced eaves encroachment setback that will create water runoff and drainage concentration very close to our property line, in which we already have a lot of issues. And along with, the seasonal and quite significant ice and snow shedding and the rainfall that we've been getting, we're really concerned about it disrupting drainage patterns, the risk of water infiltration and foundation damage to our home, as well as, again, long-term maintenance issues and maintenance access. Our third major issue, based on the minor variance submitted, is around the excessive building length. So the maximum building length should be 17 meters, and the proposed length is 17.98 meters. Our concerns here are also significant in that this increased building length will contribute again to the loss of natural light to the neighboring windows on the east side of the house, as well as the back of the house, in which we do have quite large windows and lots of natural sunlight coming in. We also will have a reduced sky view and backyard usability. And the third is the increased shadowing on the property. We did also want to note that we did not come across a formal shadowing study that was provided to assess the impacts onto our property with the increased length in the back, as well as the closeness to our property as well in terms of the setback. So those are our three concerns. We also, in terms of the minor variances, And to summarize, our request is that the building plans be revised to comply with the applicable zoning standards, that at a minimum, and clear construction management and access plans are provided, and that pre-construction condition surveys, such as a shadowing study of adjacent properties, is completed. And then the other piece is just given our proximity to this new development, that the liability of the builder for any damages to fencing, foundation, and grading or structures is also noted as well and complied by. In addition, I just wanted to reiterate that we feel that the plan is not in line with the neighborhood character, and although we heard from the developer builder some of the examples in the existing area.
Okay, you have 10 seconds to wrap, ma'am.
Thank you. And although we've noted that the properties are quite close together, it doesn't mean it's right to continue in this way and set continued precedent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Panel, any questions or comments for the neighbor? No? Let's invite Mr. Romano back to offer his rebuttal.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, or evening. So thank you to Ms. Mercado and Ms. Aurora for their participation and comments. I'll deal first with the neighbor to the west, which is number 88 LABURNHAM. The side yard setbacks that are being proposed on the subject site are identical to those that are on Ms. Aurora's property. That property was a subject of a severance, and it received 10 variances, including eaves encroachment and side yard setbacks, as I mentioned, finished first floor height, front yard landscaping. I do have those photographs that illustrate on my slide number 2 what 88 LABURNHAM is developed as. There is no height variance that's being proposed and no wall height variance that's being proposed. So there is no loss of sky view or sky or shadow in that regard. The proposed building height is 9.48 meters, which is lower than 10 meters that's permitted. It's a sloped roof. It moves away from the side lot lines. And the wall height is 7 meters, which is lower than the wall height that's permitted. In comparison, number 88 LABURNHAM, which is next door, the upper left photograph, one with the 2 cars in the front yard, that has a wall height of 7.95 meters, so it's actually taller, and it has an eaves encroachment that's larger. There is no grade change that's being proposed at the property lines. ECS, Engineering Construction Services, will not allow that to happen in any event, even a building permit, but they don't allow it to happen during this process either. They've seen what is being proposed, and they've not identified any issues. The grading and drainage plan will show that that'll all be self-contained and will not transfer onto neighboring properties. The second floor window regarding the bedroom window, that's a secondary window, and there are no windows that are being proposed on that side of the proposed dwelling. If we can go to slide number 7 of my presentation. Again, the arborist report shows that the contrary to Ms. Mercado's statement, the as of right development does indeed result in the removal of that 40 centimeter tree number 2. The proposed building length does not impact that tree. That tree is being impacted by the 17 meters that's permitted. The building length here is 17.19 meters to 17.98 meters. So we'll see that in either event, the building depth that's permitted of 19 meters would impact that tree in any event. And clearly there's space to accommodate additional trees because the landscaping is being consolidated. The rear yard has 92% soft landscaping, and there's a tree that's being proposed there. Only one tree because the other significant tree is being retained. And the front yard also has consolidated landscaping in the front. I've already discussed the lot sizes, but in terms of Ms. Mercado's colored mapping, one of which is only part of the block, even in those descriptions, what Ms. Mercado failed to say was that 46% of the lots on her mapping, just in the block that she's defined, are 7.62 meters or smaller. So that is a substantial representation. So I would submit again that the proposal is minor in nature, and we're happy with all the staff conditions, and planning staff have no objections. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Romano. Panel, any questions or comments for Mr. Romano?
I have both, Mr. Chair.
Yep.
So, Mr. Romano, just want to come back to your statement about side yard setback, and quite frankly, that's my only concern about this application is your proposed exterior side yard setbacks. I do want to compliment you on your interior side yard setbacks. Someone's finally listening to me and providing a reasonable distance between the two proposed houses, so thanks for that one. But I do want to question something that you stated with regards to the side yard setback of number 88. I'm looking at your site plan labeled AOD, and I believe according to that site plan, number 88 has a side yard setback of 0.94. Is that correct?
Yes, on that, on the applicant's side, the survey shows 0.94 at the front and 0.93 at the back, and the interior side yard.
Yeah, I know the interior, but that's not what's at issue. I think their concern is the side yard setback to their property, and I believe you inferred that theirs is similar. I just wanted to point out that it is not. It is substantially larger than yours.
Mr. Chairman, as I was trying to say, number 88 and number 90 were the subject of a severance, and they received minor variance approval for one side yard to be 0.6 meters, the other side yard to be 0.9 meters. So on the side of my client's property, they constructed at 0.93 to 0.94, and on the other side, they are at 0.6. That's not shown on the survey because I do not have a survey of their property, just their plans. So the 0.6, 0.9 is how they're illustrated at number 88. On our subject site, we're kind of creating that same pattern. You go 0.6 next to the 0.9, and then you have the 0.9 next to the 0.9. That's
okay.
That's the pattern that's being proposed here. And it's actually 0.61 on the site plan. I don't know why the zone examiner came at 0.6, but that's just the way it is.
Okay. I mean, the only other comment is that 0.94 setback is, I believe, concrete. It's not, I don't believe it's landscaped. But
the neighbor?
Yeah.
Well, we can't change that. It's going to be landscaped on our side.
No, I understand that. I'm just trying to put forward equal arguments for what's being said and trying to clarify what is actually being proposed. So
understood. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments, concerns, questions? Nothing? Okay. All right, then I think we're in a position where we can go into committee for a discussion if we need any, or a motion on the consent and the two minor variance applications.
I'll make some comments. As I said earlier, or alluded to earlier, my only concern with this application is the 0.6 setback, which is what's being proposed for both exterior setbacks. Other than that, I don't really have a concern with this application.
Yeah, I think we used to often ask why they didn't propose semi-detached buildings to eliminate this interior side yard issue. But yeah, we understand the market desires for the type of house that they buy, so.
I think their interior sidebacks, I agree with. I don't have a problem with what's being proposed between the two proposed new dwellings.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misread it.
My issue is the two exterior.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misread that, yeah.
Correct, because then you could afford more on the outside, yeah.
Anyway, any other points that anybody wishes to make for consideration, or are we ready for a motion then?
Well, unless anybody else has any comments or concerns, having considered all of the submissions made to us, noting that, I will move to approve, noting that community planning has no objections subject to conditions, and that heritage and planning has approval subject to condition. I move to approve with those conditions intact.
And there would also be development, engineering, and transportation review conditions.
And forestry 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Yes.
You okay with those as
Yes.
friendly amendments?
Thank you.
So forestry 1, 2, and 3, ECS, and heritage.
And heritage. Community planning has, no. Nope, thank you.
Okay, is there a seconder?
Yep, I'll second that.
Thanks, Mr. Adams. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, the three applications are approved by vote of 4-1. Thank you, Mr. Romano. Thank you, Ms. Mercado. And thank you, neighbor from number 88. Okay, Mr. Adams, I think you need to excuse yourself, if I'm correct. Okay, next up, we have item 24, 9 Hertford Avenue. This is an application for consent with two variances, one set for one part and another set for the other part. So we have development, engineering, and transportation review. I just see that as advisory and no conditions. Am
It's
I
a
right in
community
that?
planning condition.
Pardon me?
There is a community planning condition.
Yeah, yes, I realize that. I'm talking about development, engineering, and transportation review. I didn't read that. I just read advisory.
No, those are ours, the normal consent conditions. But ECS does not have any more recommended conditions. So the only conditions we have, other than the standard consent conditions, is a condition from planning.
Yeah.
Was forestry asking for a deferral on this?
No.
No?
1, 2, and 3. Or just 3, yeah, just 3.
For item 24?
Yeah, just the condition 3.
Okay, I missed that.
Okay, we have 3 letters of opposition. And in additional material, we got an opposition petition and 2 support letters. Okay, so we can now invite Mr. Flett to present to us. Are we ready to go for that? Yes, okay. Mr. Flett.
Members of the committee, Mr. Chair, good evening. I had to cross out good afternoon. My name is Ian Flett, and I appear on behalf of the owner of 9 Hertford Avenue in support of these applications. This is a straightforward intensification application on a site that is very well suited to it. The property is in a neighborhoods designation. It is zoned residential multiple. It is within the Keelsdale PMTSA. It is only about 350 meters from the new Eglinton Crosstown LRT. It has a walkability score of 87. This is exactly the kind of location where the city's current planning framework supports additional housing. This is one of the largest sites in the immediate area, and I think of my exchange, sir, with one of the members. That is a 12.9 meter frontage and a 35.03 meter depth. There is support from the neighboring property at 7 Hertford. The proposal is to replace the existing 1-story detached house and rear garage with 2 3-story semi-detached fourplexes and 1 garden suite in the rear yard of each building lot. In total, that is 10 residential units over 2 lots in a low-rise built form. The consent creates 2 lots from the existing parcel. Planning staff reviewed the proposed lot sizes and frontages in the context of the neighborhood and concluded that they are consistent with the prevailing lot fabric. This proposal was also revised through the staff review process. Planning staff had concerns with aspects of the original application, and the applicant responded by revising the plans to improve the front yard setback, the separation between the main buildings, and the garden suites, and the amount of rear yard landscaping. Community planning recommends approval of all 3 applications, subject to 1 condition, securing the revised rear yard soft landscaping and permeable paving. Development Engineering and Transportation Review also have no objection. So this is not a case where the committee is being asked to approve a proposal that has unresolved city concerns. The relevant departments have reviewed it, and the changes were made. We now have staff support. In our submission, the variances should be looked at in context. The question is not simply how many there are, but the question is whether in this location, for this form of low-rise housing, this proposal is appropriate. If you had the opportunity to view the site, you would have seen that there are a number of other multi-unit residential buildings within that area, even within that block. Almost kitty corner to this lot is a small apartment building. This delivers exactly what the city now expressly permits and encourages. Mr. Chair, you said in this area it's 4 units and plus a garden suite. We're right in that target as you laid out. There is some opposition, which is not unusual when there's change, but the best answer to those concerns is the record before you. It's been reviewed by staff. We have support of the immediate neighbor. For those reasons, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, we would humbly ask that you approve this application for consent and variances.
Thank you very much, Mr. Flood. An excellent presentation. Panel, any questions or comments before we continue?
I have questions. Or go ahead, Laura.
Just one comment. Thank you for giving me the walkability score.
I do. I remembered it from last time, and then I heard you say it again. And actually, what is interesting is that when you look at the walkability score, it provides a transit score, and that transit score has not yet taken the LRT into account because it provides the basis for the score, and so the LRT hasn't uploaded to whatever database that service is using.
And it's almost running properly now.
I'm sorry, sir?
And it's almost running properly now.
That's right. Maybe that's why they haven't changed the database yet.
Okay, I have 2 questions, and they pertain to 2 concerns I have, and it has to do with front yard setbacks and side yard setbacks. So your west side yard setback is being proposed at 0.35.
Yes.
And your front yard setback is being proposed at 3.04. Do you have examples of similar setbacks in the immediate context?
We've observed, and I think by anecdotal observations, you do see that there are narrow setbacks in that area, and that area is already very compact as it exists. There, I believe that in this case, we also have a rear to side lot condition, so that minimizes the impact of that west setback.
You have, sorry, you have a rear to...
Let me just... Oh, I stand corrected, sir. Sorry, I confused myself with another matter. Oh, wait. No, yes, there is a rear yard. That's correct. Rear yard off Landor Avenue. So number 33 Landor Avenue and number 31, in fact, all 31, 29, and 27A are all rear yards.
Oh, okay. So your side yard is actually, it's what we used to call a key lot. So
yeah.
So you're actually siding to rear yards as opposed to side yards.
That's correct.
Got it. Okay. So that addresses the west side. And what about your frontage?
I agree, sir, that the going from 6 some odd meters to 3 is an adjustment. There is a typology and there is an architectural constraint in terms of what these buildings are trying to achieve. Again, because you're taking the average, you can't take the average from the rear yards, right? So you're only working off of the front yard setback at number 7. Number 7 would be the last single detached dwelling on the block.
No, understood.
As our support.
So for that, I take the absolute immediate context and look at it in relation to what's going to be next door.
At 3, 1, 3, and 5 also, which is a multi-unit residential building and has a 4.57 meter setback.
What about number 7?
Well, number 7 is at 6.16, 6.26.
Yeah.
That's the last single detached dwelling on the block, because you have numbers 3 and 5 that are closer.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to read something here. I'm just looking at the survey for 9. So the existing front yard setback on number 9 is how much? I'm looking at the survey.
Looking at this.
There's a brick porch at the front, set of steps running down.
4.79 is the closest to the lot line on the existing.
Right now.
Yes, sir.
So you're going like just over half of that.
3.3. I'll be generous with the interpretation, but yes. Front yard
Okay.
setback 3
Are
meters,
you okay for
3.04. Yeah.
Mr. Kumar?
I'm okay for now. I guess I need to digest those numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I've just got a quick question. So you mentioned 3 and 5. What is the setback relative to 3 and 5? Is it less or more? Probably less, but
It is less than what is currently at 3.5. 3.5 is 4.57. And then you go straight onto Bicknell Avenue.
Nothing? Okay. Need to ponder some more? That's okay.
Well, no, you know, the idea that the side yard faces the backyard as a mitigation, I would argue the alternative, that if you were going back to it, you would require a much greater distance, because it would be a rear yard setback that you would have to enforce. And in this case, you're cutting that, you know, you're cutting what the side yard, which I think, anyway, I'm just verbalizing where my brain is spinning.
I think one of the things that may assist in taking this lot into account, and perhaps different from earlier today, is that we are in a PMTSA where we have not just the generalized expectation of intensification, but specific intensification targets.
Oh, I don't disagree. I totally agree with intensifying this site.
Yeah.
I have no issue with doing a severance here. It absolutely deserves intensification. It's a question of how it's done.
I understand, sir.
Okay, are we comfortable going into committee for, what's that? No speaking.
No speakers?
Oh, no, though we have a
Oh, yeah, I'm
few
sorry.
species.
Oh, yeah, I forgot something big here. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Are we okay with Mr. Flutt for a while? Okay. Yeah, so I have a listing here showing 1 in-person speaker and 4 virtual participants. Is that accurate?
Yes. So I checked 3 virtual or online. I'm not sure if the in-person is still here or if they ever came. Massimo no. So that person's not here. And Irina isn't present online. So we have a Jose, Anthony, and Ellen currently present online.
That's all we have. So Jose, says a second here. We've got Jose, Anthony, and Ellen.
Yes.
And we definitely don't have, or are you going to check on Massimo and Irina?
Irina's online.
Oh, Irina's online? Oh, perfect. Okay, she just joined. So we have 4 deputants online.
So here's the 4th one?
Irina.
Irina.
And sorry, you're here for item 25, gentlemen?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So I can go ahead and connect Jose first.
So we'll start with Jose. Jose Resendez.
Hello.
Oh. Hello, could you give us
Hi.
your... Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you give us your name and address?
My name is Jose Resendes, and I live at 1B Landor Avenue. I'm opposed to the proposed development for 2 fourplexes and 2 rear yard garden suites. I have submitted a letter and signatures on behalf of the residents in the area, which my counselor Francis Nunziata office confirmed it was forwarded to this committee, along with her letter of opposition. Hertford Avenue is a small dead-end street made up of 12 bungalows and 4 two-story homes, with many long-term residents and seniors. These homes are on large lots, detached homes. This proposal is not a gentle intensification, it is overdevelopment. It does not respect the existing character of the neighborhood as required under section 4.1 of the City of Toronto official plan. And it is not gradual or sensitive as required by the healthy neighborhood policy. Placing this level of density on a single lot is completely out of scale with our street. It will create real impact, traffic congestion, parking shortages, and safety concerns, especially given the constraints of a dead-end street. It also leaves half of the needed green space on the lot for drainage, which will overload the already overtaxed drainage system. Not to mention space for garbage, recycling, green bins, which were not allotted for. This application also fails to the 4 tests under the Planning Act. It is not minor, it is not appropriate, and it does not maintain the intent of the official plan of zoning bylaw for both part 1, part 2, 3, and 4. We support appropriate development, but this proposal goes too far for this location. I respectfully ask that you refuse this application. Thank you for the time provided.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Ascendes before we carry on here?
I just want to clarify with the panel, we did not receive Councillor Nunziata's letter.
It wasn't in your package. I do have it. It was not included. I'm writing to express strong opposition to the above noted minor variance applications for 9 Hertford Avenue, which seek to sever the lot into 2 undersized residential parcels, construct a pair of semi-detached fourplexes with garden suites in the rear yard, and establish an easement right-of-way for pedestrian access. This proposal represents a clear and significant overdevelopment of the site. The number, scale, and cumulative impact of the requested variances cannot reasonably be considered minor. Rather than seeking limited relief, the applicant is attempting to override key zoning standards to accommodate a level of development that is not appropriate for this property or the surrounding neighborhood. It does go up. Paul, can you share it from IBMS? Sorry, does go on.
Was that submitted on time?
No, it was submitted on time. It wasn't included in your package.
Okay, we'll now invite Irina Logvinova. Is that correct?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, dear committee members. My name is Irina Logvinova, and I live at 27 AILEEN Avenue. My backyard runs along the east side of 9 Hertford Avenue and faces the rear lot and existing garage. I'm here to oppose all 3 applications, which together propose 10 residential units, over 16 variances, and a lot severance on a single property. This is a full redevelopment of the lot, not a minor adjustment. I want to address the consent to sever first, because it is what enables everything else. The committee has 3 things to wait on severance: lot suitability, adequacy of municipal services, and conformity with the official plan. This consent fails on all 3. Both resulting lots are undersized, neither can accommodate the proposed buildings without extensive relief from the bylaw. The fourplexes have to be pushed to within 3 meters of the front lot line, roughly half of the required setback just to fit. Then the severance creates 2 lots that each require 8 variances to be built on. Those lots are not suitable for the intended purpose. Waste collection, recycling, and organics for 10 households on the site will severely reduce outdoor space, will put real strain on municipal services. The severance is the mechanism that enables all of this. The variances are not minor. Both garden suites are proposed at 6.3 meters high, more than 50% over the 4-meter maximum, and would stand directly behind my property at roughly the same height as my own 2-story home. And ancillary buildings should not rival the height of the neighboring house. The bylaw only permits 6.3 meters, where the garden suites are at least 7.5 meters away from the main building. Both applications propose only 7 meters. So the applicant is asking for the height benefit of greater separation without providing that separation. The development is not desirable, and my family will feel it every day. Upper level windows on those 2 structures will look straight into my yard and my house, creating an overlook that does not exist today. Because my property is on the east, they will also block our morning sun, and my family runs a food garden that feeds us through summer and fall. And losing that sunlight will take away something we really depend on. Stormwater is another concern. Soft landscaping drops from the required 50% to about 27%, making nearly 3/4 of the rear yard impervious. This runs against the city's wet weather flow master plan and Toronto Green standards. At a time when the city is exploring stormwater charges based on hard surface area, approving this works against the city's own climate resilience direction. The official plan also directs that new development respects the existing character of the neighborhood, replacing a modest garage and green space with 2 oversized garden suites, 2 fourplexes exceeding height limit, and 10 units on what was 1 residential lot does not respect that pattern. For these reasons, I respectfully urge the committee to refuse the consent to sever and to refuse both minor variance applications. If any approvals are considered, I respectfully ask that both garden suites be reduced to the permitted 4 meters height, that all setbacks and separation distances be enforced, and that the 50% soft landscaping requirement be restored. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Questions for Ms. Logvinova? Anyone? Yeah. Okay, we'll call now on Anthony Moscar.
Anthony Moscar. I live at 16 Landor Avenue, directly around the corner from the property in question.
Okay.
So I'll start by saying I support increased density in Toronto. I support development of the missing middle, and I support the multiplex policy completely. Am I allowed to ask a point of clarification if this is Mod City? Because I kind of built my statement around being told that the developer was Mod City. Is that allowed?
Well, ask the question, then I'll tell you whether it's allowed.
That's the
Oh,
question.
is this developer Mod City?
I didn't understand the word.
Is that
Oh, Mod City.
is the
Mod City is a
is the applicant Mod City?
correct.
That is his question.
Correct.
I don't know.
The owner is listed on the application as 9 Hartford Group Inc.
Okay, so I'll proceed as though then, because that's what I was told. So, okay, great. I'll continue. Thank you. So, my objection is not that this is a multiplex housing. My objection is that this specific application on this specific narrow lot not only makes life worse for immediate neighbors, but for actually 2 entire streets, Hertford and Landor. And I argue for the 10 households who would eventually live in it. And I would like to raise 3 concerns in addition to what has been submitted ahead of time, both by myself and by a number of neighbors and the councillor. So first, this design ignores who actually lives in our neighborhood. York South Weston, it's a working class community. It's home to newcomers. It's home to many people work in the trades. People drive to job sites, people whose trucks and vans carry their tools and their livelihoods, who get dropped off by a coworker at the end of the shift, who load and unload materials at home between jobs. This is a daily texture of our neighborhood. And I want to be careful here. I'm not asking the committee to require on-site parking. The cities have moved away from that. We're close to transit, all for good reasons. And I understand and accept that policy direction. So my argument is about the loading and drop-off. 10 units. We're talking 10 units replacing a single family home. This will generate constant pickup and drop-off activity, co-workers driving home from sites, contractors dropping off a worker, groceries being hauled in, van delivery supplies for home-based side businesses. Every one of those movements needs somewhere to stop. The application does not account for any of this. And here's the real world consequence. Hertford Avenue has on-street parking. Where cars are parked, the street functionality becomes one lane. Drivers already have to wait for oncoming traffic to pass with no loading zone on site. That predictable outcome is that people will stop in the travel lane or pull up onto the sidewalk. And it's not a hypothetical. It is what people do when the built environment gives them no other option. So the sidewalk gets blocked for pedestrians, including kids walking to school, seniors, and the one remaining lane gets blocked for through traffic for 2 streets. So what I want to stress here is that this is a safety issue, and it becomes a critical safety issue in an emergency. Hertford and Landor share a singular vehicular exit. We have no second way out. Last year, a building had a significant fire, and fire trucks parked on Hertford, rendering the entire block impassable. Cars couldn't get through, pedestrians struggled to pass. I work in healthcare. I was significantly late for work, causing real work safety concerns. If an ambulance is called to a 10-unit building and there's nowhere on the property to park and load a patient, that ambulance blocks the street. And with no alternate exit, that entire block is cut off. The residents of this block deserve a design that works for how they actually live, and a proposal that designs for the absence of tradespeople, delivery drivers, working families isn't designed for this neighborhood at all. Then we look at the humanistic test here. We talk about building for the missing middle. That phrase is supposed to mean real homes for real families, places where a parent can watch their children on the lawn, where you can have a barbecue, where a stroller fits through the door. This application doesn't meet that mark. Soft landscaping is cut from the required 50% down to 27. Side yards go to like 0 meters. The outdoor amenity is essentially eliminated. The application's own drawings don't show where families are supposed to be. And in recognition of Earth Week this week, how are we considering the tree canopy for this property that will never be allowed if this is approved? There's a cautionary tale here that we have to imagine. Toronto and neighboring areas currently sitting on over 20,000 unsold condominium units in GTHA. Units that, as industry coverage has repeatedly documented, are small, cramped, not meeting what people actually need. The province just launched the $1.3 billion fund specifically to buy up this inventory that the market doesn't want. We already built one generation of housing that missed the mark on livability. I'm asking the committee not to approve a second generation of it at ground level on narrow residential streets. Increasingly, density and building places people actually want to live are not the same thing. And we shouldn't settle for one while calling it the second. I'm just looking at my time, so I'll wrap up just saying I was told that this was a mod city build, which, you know, you've heard earlier in the day, the issues that have come up with, cutting down trees ahead of actually owning the property. I just want to thank everyone for your time and your consideration in this.
Thank you, Mr. Moskart. Questions, comments for the gentleman? No. Call it Ellen Rehor.
Ellen Rehor, and I live at 14 Landor and have lived there for the past 22 years. Everyone said exactly what I want to say, but there's a couple things I just want to add to that. I am in complete opposition to this proposal. It's not in line with the neighborhood currently. I respectfully ask you to refuse this proposal I stand with my neighbors. I think it sets a precedent for the neighborhood, as there's so many bungalows in the area that could potentially follow suit with what this person is doing to that tiny little bungalow. They gave the example of 7 Hartford. I don't think that's an appropriate example, because that person took a house and added an addition in the back. Whether it's legal or not remains to be seen. The person at the corner of Landor and Hartford took a bungalow, tore it down, and now has built what I consider a monstrosity and an eyesore to the neighborhood. It's a 2-story with a proposed 4 units in it, with no parking and no green space. And I also believe that it's not in line to what the neighborhood is. Our street has children playing on it every day, weather permitting. We have young families. We have people, elderly people that, take for granted that if they need an ambulance, they can get an ambulance. So respectfully, as with my neighbors, I just wanted to say thank you for your time. And I consider that I want to voice my opinion on strong opposition to this proposal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Reicher. Okay, I think we've heard from everyone. Now we can invite Ian Flett back to offer a rebuttal to the 4 people that have spoken about this application.
Paul, can you share the counselor's letter so that the members can see it while this is happening?
He's item 24A. You said 27.
We're trying to show. We're trying to show the letter from Francis. That's better. Yeah. Scroll. Wow. Holy smokes. Okay. So are we respecting Mr. Flett to absorb and comment on the councillor's letter?
I had access to the letter, sir.
Yeah, you just didn't see it.
But I do appreciate the courtesy of giving me a chance to see it. What I would say about the letter is, unfortunately, it's based on the earlier iteration. There's some of the revisions that were made through consultation with community planning that addresses, not all of them, a handful of the issues that were raised by Councillor Nunziata. One of the big ones is the walkway, right? There's going to be a consolidated walkway on one side, and then that's going to be subject to an easement for the use of the adjoining property.
Yeah.
So I'll leave that where it is.
Okay, well, you do have remarks made by 4 people that live on Landor Avenue to the west of you. So
I'll begin with the gentleman who, and I wasn't able to catch all the last names, so I'll just refer to the property addresses if that's all right, but not in any disrespect to those who stayed to provide their comments. In respect of drainage, and I also want to address that because it comes up in the councillor's letter, first of all, the city community planning condition is to secure those permeable surfaces that don't count towards hard landscaping. Also, there are a number of features of the way this building is proposed to be constructed that would still allow permeability, such as the rear access. So those stairs are made so that water drips through them, and then of course the drainage is collected in the basement access. That's a significant contribution to being able to absorb the groundwater on the site, and of course not an issue that has been raised by ECS. Irina, and again, I'm afraid I didn't catch her last name, but she's at 27A Landor Avenue, and I do understand her concerns as she's expressed them. I would indicate that the garden suite that is proposed to be adjacent to her property has no windows looking out into that property, so there is not a direct overlook. Perhaps there would be an overlook from the 3rd floor unit in the main building at some point. Not, I think, an overlook that is uncharacteristic of living in a big city. The other thing I would note is, having looked at the Google satellite pictures, 27A has I'll say a medium-sized shed right up against the lot line, so that it appears her garden is in one position and the shed is next to it, so that it's at the lot line. So there's already some built form encroaching into that space that she appreciates. The gentleman whose first name is Anthony, it was helpful to hear him reflect on those who live in the community and how development might serve the demographic that he was expressing. But he focused a lot of his submissions on the concern for traffic and the impacts on Landauer and Hertford. And I couldn't help but to reflect on the irony that here we are implementing policies that are getting us away from the problems of cars, and then cars would be the justification for refusing it if this gentleman had his way. The reality is we're trying to move away from that congestion, and the way you do that is exactly with this sort of development serving high order transit. The vision that he has for raising a family, barbecues, open lawns, is idyllic. That is not the reality for so many families in Toronto. Finally, Ms. Reihart, 22 years, and we can in the neighborhood, we can see that in her love and her passion for her neighborhood. She lives in a location that is not within view of this development application, so it's a little difficult to see how it would directly impact her in the day-to-day. And other than having to drive by it, we did see that she was aggravated by one of her neighbors' developments at the corner of Landauer and Hertford, and perhaps it's the aesthetic challenge that is triggering her more than the underlying planning rationale. I've made this submission to this committee, and I don't want to say the same thing over and over again. You are at the front line of change, and this is the change that's happening to these neighborhoods. That's the rebuttal I would offer with what we've heard from the opponents today.
Okay, well done. Any questions or comments before we invite Mr. Flett to sit down?
Just a comment. I mean, I agree I agree we're on the front line, and change is hard for a lot of people. But, maybe we're asking too much of this particular lot is what I'm thinking. But, I mean, if it was one fourplex and one garden suite, no problem. Anyway, that's all.
I can, seeing as though I'm still here and I haven't been told to sit down yet, maybe I'll just take an opportunity. I can understand that frustration. The PMTSAs don't quite work in concentric circles with several layers, but if they did, this is almost as close as you can get within a neighborhood to this transit station. And you can just see the fabric of this pocket is unique as you go down Landor, but is certainly available for this sort of compact intensification closer to Bricknell and just within spitting distance of the subway station. And of course, the park, again, these lots, wonderful park amenities within walking distance. It's families being able, and this is perhaps the personal part that I reveal at 5:45 in the evening. Right downtown Toronto, all I had was Queen's Park with no play area for my kids and the U of T. And when I see an application for an apartment for children with 3 bedrooms next to a playground, next to a ball court, next to all these things, I say that's hitting the mark.
Yeah, it's definitely the missing middle for sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I would just comment, I'm just looking at the location map, Ms. Alderson, as you're talking, and I'm thinking that the 3, maybe even 4 lots to the east on the same side, like I'm talking about numbers 1, 3, 5, and 7, Hartford, could each and every one of them could be a 4-plex as of right. So I know we're dealing with a consent here as well, but I'm just thinking about the potential future of this little chunk of this street. And yeah, change is difficult, but it's here. We've got a policy that's in place. We know what the city wants. Yeah, it's not attractive to a lot of people that have enjoyed their streets just the way they've been for a long time, but anyway. So here we are.
Okay, I think this is a great site for a severance. I think it's a great site for a 4-plex and a garden suite. I'm just not sure if it's the appropriate site for both. I'm struggling with some of the variances. The front yard setback, variance 1 in part 2, the variance 6 in part 2, the landscape deficiency in part 2, the side yard setback in part 1, variance 3. I don't think any of those variances are minor, quite frankly. I mean, I'd like to approve the severance and not the variances, but I don't think we can do that. So that's my struggle. I think this is totally appropriate for this neighborhood. It's a question of, what should the level of intensification be? And for this particular lot, I suspect it's a bit of an overbuild.
I definitely agree with you on that. And as I said, I would love it if this was just 1 4-plex and a garden suite in the back, and I'd have no trouble with it.
If it was that, he wouldn't be here.
Well, he might have built a bigger 4-plex with some variances.
Yeah, or severance with 2 3-plexes. I mean, you need to do something with this lot.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not suggesting for a moment that it should stay as it is. But, is this overdevelopment? Are we asking too much of this lot? I mean, it's in a great location. It's close to the LRT, but anyway.
Does it make any sense or do any good to approve the consent and not approve the variances? And allow the applicant with an opportunity to come up with a creative solution that fits a small lot. Bring it in if necessary, build as of right if he wants.
Could build as of right.
Yeah. Because I think we all agree the lot size is okay. It's just what he's... Yeah. I mean, it's an option, right?
Barb?
It's the question of staff. Is that an option?
Well, they do have variances for frontage, and
So we'd have to approve those as well.
Yeah,
I think it's
yes.
just on the one. But you're also looking at a concept, and we always tell applicants they can't apply for a consent on speculation, because how does the committee make a decision if they're not comfortable with what could be built there? Once you approve an application for consent, the implication is it can be developed. And then when they come up with their proposal, the answer is the site is too tight, potentially. So they need a multitude of variances, and that's why you are provided with a development proposal. So if that development proposal doesn't satisfy you as being appropriate, then the whole project should be considered together.
Can they not come back with a new structural proposal post-consent?
Yes, but you still may not be happy with that proposal. And then the question is that a developable lot?
Yeah.
Is the consent premature without knowing what you're going to potentially have to put on that site?
Yeah, that's
Without-
exactly what I was kind of
Is that what
talking
you
about.
get? Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
but
there's-
I mean, in theory, if
It's
if
risky.
if it's within the footprint and no minor variances are required, then it would still work. Is that?
What are the variances on the Garden Suite? Can we take those, can we take those out of the equation?
Yeah, the principal variance on the garden suite is 2-meter height and the distance from the main building. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few altogether.
If we took the Garden Suite out of the equation, and I'm not sure that the client would want to do that, but would that make everybody happy?
Not as it sits, I still have a concern with the front yard setback.
Front yard and side yard setback too as well?
Well, to a lesser degree, the side yard. I mean, I'll accept the key lot situation.
But if there wasn't a Garden Suite involved,
Then they wouldn't need to push it back as far. Sorry, forward as far.
right?
Yeah.
That would still require a new plan.
It's kind of almost there, but we're trying to shoehorn it. And that's not our job.
This isn't exactly gentle intensification of a lot.
Well, or is it gentle over-intensification? You know, look, you guys, we got to move forward. It's after 6 o'clock. I'm going to propose a motion to refuse based on some of the variances not being minor and therefore failing the test.
Okay, we have a motion tabled to refuse the consent and the minor variance applications. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that
Ms.
motion.
Alderson, thank you. All in favor? Opposed? You're opposed? Okay, I guess I either have to abstain or join the approvals, correct? I can't cause a tie.
No.
Could I shoot Mr. Adams with the black men in black gun? Bring him back? No? Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to support the motion to refuse. Can I say reluctantly?
I am actually reluctantly doing this as well, so.
Well, don't second my motion. Try a different one.
No, well, I mean, I would take the Garden Suite off the table, but I'm not sure that
Well,
your client would want to do that.
You know, I would like this proposal to go forward, but I don't think we can negotiate.
Yeah, no, we really.
We've already had a motion, a seconder, and a vote.
Yeah, all in favor of refusal? That's carried 3-1. And I guess to Mr. Flett, he heard everything we said and took copious notes. so he can work with his client on
And
something that hopefully.
he's still smiling, which is amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean, he appreciates how difficult
Yes,
city.
he's
This is a lot more difficult than decks. You pointed that out.
still smiling.
It's city building with brand new rules
Yeah.
that a lot of neighbors don't understand and/or don't like.
I think it's one that I think we would like to approve.
Item is over and we're gonna move on to item
Okay.
25.
Zip it.
We tried to salvage it. We tried.
Okay, moving on to item 25, 18 LEDUC Drive. Purpose is to legalize and to maintain the existing multi-unit dwelling. There are 9 variances. This application was deferred on October 9th last year to provide the applicant an opportunity to review the proposal further. There is a presentation. We have transportation review is okay with this application. We have 4 support letters, and we have no registered speakers. Correct, Thomas?
That's correct.
Okay, so we have, is it Caleb Veals?
Yes, it is. Yep.
All right, sir, please present to us.
Perfect. Could I just get my presentation materials up on the screen if you don't mind? Perfect. Thank you. Good evening, and thank you for having me back. My name is Caleb Veals, one of the owners of 18 LEDUC Drive, and this is my associate, Charles Chardot. The deferral that you granted me in October has given us the time and space to do some research and figure out our next steps. Before diving into the history of the building and application, we'd like to summarize the 3 reasons we believe this application is minor, desirable for the neighborhood, and meets the general intent of the official plan and zoning. 1, we have neighborhood and city support. 2, a number of the variances triggered are because of site conditions that have existed for the last 60 years. And 3, 6-plex dwellings currently match the current neighborhood and community framework. If we could go to the next slide, please. Now, a brief history of the file and building. The property was built in the 1950s as a duplex dwelling. Prior to 2010, the building was divided into 6 self-contained units. This means the property has consistently provided a home and shelter to 6 Toronto families at any given time, year after year, over the past 16 plus years. In 2016, the property was subject to a notice to comply, mandating permits for the work that was previously completed. As a result of this, the previous owner commissioned drawings and opened a COA file to approve the legalization of the existing building. He filed for deferral of the COA file December 5th of 2024 and was subsequently scheduled for October 9th, 2025. On October 7th, we purchased the property via power of sale and only then found out about the COA file, since the sign had been put on the front lawn by a third-party consultant. I then appeared before you 2 days later on October 9th to request a deferral. Next slide. This leads us to today. No one has sent any letters of objection. The file has been scheduled 3 different times, meaning the lawn sign was posted numerous times. Notices to neighbor mailed out multiple times, and yet no one has opposed these minor variances. I'm happy to say we have received letters of support from the neighbors, positive feedback from city planning and transportation, and we look to you for your support today. We are requesting 9 variances today, which address 3 categories: existing site conditions, transportation, and 6-plex variances, as you can see on the slide. Next slide, please. The property is a semi-detached building on a large pie-shaped lot. The shape of the lot results in a variance for the frontage being too small and the driveway at the back being too large. The semi-detached construction results in the side yard setback variance and the main wall distance variance. Transportation has completed the review of the application and have no objections to the 3 related variances: bicycle parking, visitor parking, and driveway width. It should be noted that we are not proposing any changes to the driveway widths or to the building size/footprint. These variances are triggered because of existing site conditions. Next slide. We now get to the crux of the application, which is an increased unit count of 6 versus the 4 allowed as of right. For this, we need to look at the greater neighborhood context. I'm happy to report that the city staff report agrees with our findings. The 6 units is very consistent with the neighborhood dynamic. To quote the city staff report, the prevailing character of LEDUC Drive includes multiple walk-up apartments and multiplexes, so the existing apartment building use fits the character of the neighborhood. In review of the proposed application, community planning staff have no objection to the legalization of the existing apartment, 6plex, as the prevailing character of the neighborhood consists of many multi-unit buildings. Staff consider the proposed variances to be minor in nature. Next slide. As you can see on the attached slides, we are surrounded by multi-unit apartment buildings and multiplexes. There are not any single-family homes that exist in our neighborhood pocket. Next slide. With the entirety of the pocket being multiplexes and apartment buildings, many of which contain 6 units or more. Next slide, please. In closing, we believe the application clearly satisfies the 4 tests under the Planning Act. The variances are minor. They represent good and appropriate development for the property, and they maintain the intent of both the zoning bylaw and the official plan. We have the support of the neighborhood and positive feedback from city officials, and we respectfully ask for your approval today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fields. The panel, any questions or comments for Mr. Fields?
I have a question which may lead to a comment. Would you consider someone 2 kilometers away from your site to be part of the neighborhood?
Part of the Rexdale neighborhood.
Because that's where some of your support letters are coming from.
Yes. Yeah.
Just for future reference, we don't consider that to be immediate context.
Okay.
I don't even consider that to be valid.
Okay. Just so I know for the future, what context are you? How close is
Same
the general?
block would be good.
Okay. Same block. Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else? Questions?
Just that being said, I've been up and down on Google Street View, and you're absolutely right. It's full of multiplexes and 4plexes and maybe 6plexes. I'm not sure, but yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
With-
so,
Yep.
sorry?
And transportation is okay. Does anyone else have any comments or questions?
I have a quick question. Mr. Agent, you said your company or
Yeah,
the,
Yeah.
your microphone up.
Mr. Agent, you said that the owner purchased the property under a power of sale. Were any of the tenants, was there an impact on any of the tenants as a result of that purchase?
No.
So that was a
So
continuous
when we purchased the property, 2 tenants had already moved out, so there was 2 empty units, and then 1 tenant has moved out since, but that was all of their own choice.
Okay, so that didn't trigger any?
No,
tenants?
no.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Yep. Is it currently fully occupied?
Currently, there's 1 empty unit, so
One empty
that
unit,
kind of ties into our plan of how we would do construction or any fixes that are needed.
Okay, thank you.
And with that, I'm happy to move a motion. I'm satisfied that the 4 tests are passed here, and given that there are no conditions, I'm not seeing any, happy to move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Is there a seconder for Mr. Adams' motion?
I'm happy to second that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Alderson. All in favor?
I think we have planning conditions from the previous package.
Oh, yeah, I didn't plug those in.
I
So they
did
still apply.
It's just the applicant shall submit a rental housing demolition and conversion declaration of use and screening form. It's just to
So-
protect that you're not removing any of the existing units because they're protected.
Is you okay with that condition being imposed?
We do have some concerns with that condition, so we've been doing our research for the past 6 months or so. It is our intent to maintain all 6 units exactly as they are. However, we cannot guarantee this will be possible or financially feasible. It will depend on Toronto Building's interpretation of OBC. So we've spoken to 2 different design firms, a code consultant who worked at the City of Toronto as a manager of plan review for over 25 years, and they have all reviewed these drawings, and they believe that the design intent meets OBC. However, until we go for permits, we don't know what Toronto Building will require of us. So we don't know how they'll interpret the code. But there is definitely a path forward with 5 units. Like I said, we'd like to keep all 6 units if possible, but we're just not sure what Toronto Building's going to require or how they're going to interpret the code. I can read more what my code consultant has said in the different sections if that would be of assistance.
And one is currently vacant. So
Correct,
I'm assuming that
yeah.
if you're going to be renovating a unit, you would start with that one.
Yes, correct, yeah.
And
So-
is it your intention to renovate the entire building eventually?
Well, only to bring it up to code, because this was done without permits 16 plus years ago. There's no fire separations, there's no interconnected smoke, so we are just focusing on bringing it up to
Bringing it up
safety
to code,
standards.
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Got it.
So the issue is that declaration should have been submitted with your application form, regardless of how units got there. As soon as you have 6 units or more, they are protected by rental housing. And that's why planning's asking for that as a condition. So it's up to the applicant. Like you bought into like you have to do your due diligence when purchasing a property, regardless of how it's being sold. Those units are protected under policy with the City of Toronto. And you're not allowed to remove anything. You can add, you can't remove.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to you to make it comply with fire regulations, building code, etc. So the committee made a motion. Are you including that condition or no?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Your
So we
motion
had,
includes
Yes.
the planning condition.
Motion, yeah.
so we had a motion, a seconder with a planning condition. Did you have a vote yet? I don't think
Who
so.
seconded it?
Has it been seconded?
Yeah.
It was seconded.
Did I?
We just need to vote on it.
It's a long day. It's been a long day.
Okay, it's been seconded with the planning condition. and
Yes.
Now we're voting on it?
Okay.
All in favor? Unanimously approved. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Moving on to item 26. I guess we just have 2 left.
Is that all?
Yeah. Okay. Number 26,
Another fourplex.
76 24th Street. Construct a new 4-plex. Six variances. We have, it's a revised application. We have Urban Forestry recommends denial or condition 1. This application was deferred on September the 25th to provide the applicant an opportunity to make revisions. We have a presentation. We have a planning report, planning condition, a Metrolinx advisory, and 5 letters of opposition, and no registered speakers.
That's correct.
In the revised application, yeah. 2 revised variances. Okay, and the agent is Franco Romano.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the panel, staff. Franco Romano, 321 Lakeshore.
Hello.
Hello. So those revisions that are on there are revised relative to the notice that was issued for this meeting. But the revisions are actually larger to what was before the panel in September 2025. At that time, the building length was 21.49 meters and the building depth was 21.64 meters. So the revision is for a length of 19.8 and a depth of 20.8. Happy to walk through a presentation if you like, Mr. Chairman. I'm in your hands.
We have letters of opposition, so I think we need it.
Yeah, I think in light of the opposition, yeah, I think a presentation would be in order here. Helpful.
Great. So staff, thanks for bringing up my slides. So slides 1 and 2 basically have residential dwellings that are on the street and on the, this is a corner lot. So the short width of the lot is on 24th Street and the longer depth of the lot is on LABURNHAM. So 20 LABURNHAM is a multiplex. This is a neighborhood that consists of detached, semi-detached, multiplex, as well as townhouses. And we have detached multiplex and townhouses on that top row, and they are across the street. 2 Laburnham is on opposite Laburnham from the subject site, and 120 24th Street and 10 Carnation Avenue are just up the street. On the bottom row, we have 100 102 24th Street, 2 Laburnham from the front, and 84 24th from the front. So we'll see that there are properties that have received severance approval. These include wall height variances, as well as a number of other variances, including setbacks. Slide number 2, we'll see even more multiplexes in various forms, more recent construction, although not really recent, and older construction in terms of multiplexes. Many of these have rear yard parking lots, basically, so no landscaping in the backyard. And there's also an example in the lower right of 7726th Street, which has, like some of the other multiplexes, 7726th Street is a 1 unit, but it's got multiple platforms, including on the roof. Slide number 3 shows the site plan. So north is towards the top of the page. That's Laburnham Avenue. So that is the side yard setback request, 2.44 meters. And you'll see that where I have written the 2.44 meters, I also have in parentheses that the existing is 1.0. And that is written over top of where the existing building is located. Existing building has a side yard setback of 1.02 to 1.07 meters towards Laburnham Avenue. So there's actually an improvement in terms of the Bell Farm setback in that condition. I don't even think this variance applies, and I'm happy to answer that later if I don't run out of time. On 24th Street, that'll be entirely landscaped, and then there is parking being provided in the back. This is a driveway that's being provided at the back. It says parking there. The zone examiner, I've never seen this interpretation before. Zone examiner says that tandem parking is not permitted there because 2 spaces could be accommodated there. If we didn't have that interpretation, this parking area is 100% zoning bylaw compliant because it's off of Laburnham Avenue. You will see next to the parking, and this is just off this slide, if you zoom out a little bit, there's a private lane. So the rear lot line of the subject site abuts the private lane. And then there's number 5, Laburnham. The way the zoning bylaw reads is that you need a 3-meter side yard setback when the required lot frontage is 12 meters and there is an adjacent lot abutting the side lot line of the corner lot. That's not the condition here, but the zone examiner has identified that as a variance and we're asking for it. You'll see that the 19.8 meters is only for the first floor in terms of length. 18.5 meters is the first floor because it's towards the south, and then the second and third floor. On slide number 4, we'll see that building lengths exceeding 17 meters prevail. 48% of properties exceed 17 meters and 23.3% exceed 19 meters along 24th Street. Well, that's an existing condition that is being reflected by the proposal. And on slide number 5, we'll see the building elevations. Each floor is 8 feet, 2.44 meters. So it's much lower than the allowed 10-meter building height that's being proposed. The 8.1 meter wall height is fairly modest in this neighborhood. So subject to any questions, I submit that the revised variance application is minor in nature and appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you. Panel, any questions or comments for Mr. Romano?
I see that urban forestry has recommended refusal. Can you speak to that?
Yes, thank you for that question. If we go to slide number 3 on my presentation slides. So the 3 city trees on Laburnham are shown there in the on the survey, on the drawing, with their tree protection zones. So urban forestry recommends refusal because of the tandem parking variance and because of the side yard setback variance. Neither one of those 2 impact the tree protection zone of those city trees. So there is no removal and no impact to to those city trees vis-a-vis the parking or the dwelling. The dwelling is actually moving farther away, and even the part of that basement walkout is within the existing building footprint. So I don't see how there would be a tree removal or even an injury to those city trees. I would accept the city condition that a city tree permit be obtained, even if one is, I'm not even sure that one is necessary if we're outside of the TPZ. Those are small trees. They have a 1.8 meter TPZ.
Thank you.
Okay, so you'd be okay with condition 1?
Yes, thank you.
Because you're not anticipating difficulties. Okay, that's good to know.
Can I have a follow-up question to that?
Yeah.
Mr. Agent, if I'm understanding you, looking at the plans that are on the screen right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I count 7 trees. And is it your representation to this tribunal that none of those will be injured or removed? Is that what I heard?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I was responding to the urban forestry comment, which only deals with the city trees. So there's only the 3 city trees.
Okay.
That are in the boulevard. Okay. The other 2 trees that are adjacent to the the south lot line towards the rear, those are 20 centimeter trees, and they're not regulated. So those would likely be removed as part of the development because they're undersized.
So then my question goes to the trees that the urban forestry report speaks to, where the recommendation is denial, and then another condition as an option. Have you spoken with anyone in that department?
Those are the trees that he's speaking.
No, I know. So he's saying they're not going to be injured or removed. So my question is, have you spoken with someone in that department to clarify that? Because
through you, Mr. Chairman, we will prepare the arborist report that is to be filed with urban forestry in order to allow us to engage in that discussion, because they'll want to see what the arborist report says, confirming what the site plan shows, that the driveway and that building are outside of those spaces. So that's what they've asked for.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else to ask Mr. Romano? Or?
Just there's one of the, if I may, Mr. Chair, one of the neighbors has expressed concern regarding privacy issue from one of the rear balcony platforms. Could you address that and what you're willing to do to address that concern?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. On the south side, and I think one of the neighbors that spoke to that is a couple of properties removed from the subject site. They're at number 72 24th Street. And each of the second floor balconies, because those are off of the living spaces, have an actual privacy screen that's on the side.
Okay, so that's part of your plan.
Yes, on the side elevation, you'll see that, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments?
Are there any other people here to speak to it?
No. No one to speak to it. Not even LBNA, so we can go into committee for a motion. And if we entertain a motion to approve, it's based on a revised application, and it would be subject to urban forestry condition 1 and the planning conditions set out in their memo dated April 10th, 2026.
Just the added materials as opposed to the original.
In the additional materials, yeah.
Well, if there's no other comments, I'm willing to move a motion. I believe the application satisfies the 4 tests. I'd like to move approval, subject to the planning conditions set out in the memo of April 10th, forestry condition 1, and that the privacy screens will be provided on the balconies as indicated by the applicant.
Thank you, Mr. Komorek. Is there a seconder for Ms.?
Second that, Mr.
Thank you,
Chair.
Ms. Popovic. All in favor? All opposed? that application, motion to approve is approved by vote of 4-1. So we will now move to, I believe, our final item. We have item 27, which was deferred, and 29, which was deferred. So that leaves us with item 10. 28. 1662 to 1672. Yeah, let's start over. Let's go till midnight. 1662 to 1672 Weston Road. The application is to convert the existing building into an apartment building that will contain a total of 9 units. A portion of the existing commercial use will be maintained. There are 6 variances. This item was deferred on March 12th of this year to provide the applicant with an opportunity to correctly identify all variances and to provide proper public notice. The only agency comment we have is a Metrolinx advisory, and we have no requests to speak to this item.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, we had one late addition, Joan Ashman. They are currently online.
Oh. Okay, then, yeah, I guess we need a presentation then. The agent is Diego Alonso Lene Escobar.
Hi, good evening, members of the committee. Thank you for your time today. So I would like to begin with a brief context of the property and the intent of the application. So the existing building, as you read, is a mixed-use property containing 3 commercial units and 3 residential units. The residential portion has been vacant and deteriorated condition for many years now. So our proposal does not involve expanding the existing footprint. It does not involve altering the existing building envelope, and it does not increase the massing. Instead, what it does is that it reactivates the existing structure to make better use of what's already there. So through this renovation, the total number of residential units will be increased from 3 to 9 rental units, while the commercial component is maintained. Importantly, there will be no displacement of the tenants as the units are vacant at the moment. This proposal results in a net increase of housing supply. 2 of the units are being designed as accessible units in the ground floor, and the building will remain 100% rental. So in our view, this is a clear example of gentle densification within the existing build form, and it adds much needed housing without our building. Furthermore, our client has reached out to the councilwoman Francis Nunciata to explain the proposal, and the response that we got was favorable and positive. Now, with respect to the variances before you, several of them are long-standing existing conditions rather than anything involving physical expansion. So most of them, all of them, except for item 6, which I can discuss more in depth after, are regarding existing conditions. So item number 4 is regarding the separation between the surface parking spaces and the east main wall. This is an existing condition. Item 5, landscaping, it's an existing condition. Item 7, the rear yard setback is an existing condition. Item 8, again, for the side yard setback is an existing condition. So in other words, these variances are not being created by any new addition or alteration to the building. They arise from the existing building and site configuration that has been in place for many, many years now. So this proposal is only to work within the established condition in order to bring the building back to productive residential use. Item 6 now, which is regarding the below-grade basement dwelling unit, is the variance that merits a bit more explanation. This unit takes place within the existing basement. However, we have worked carefully to ensure that it performs safely and appropriately. And we had conversations and discussions with the zoning examiner, Hensley Archer, and the city building consultant, Edison Gao. And the approach that you can find in page number 8 of the plans provided appeared acceptable to the people in the city that we spoke to. given that the design that we propose exceeds the expectation in the applicable building code requirements for the light well condition. So if we refer to the building code section 9.9.10.1, sentence 3, requires that any window well serving a basement window has a clearance of 550 millimeters. And we are in fact providing 1,100 millimeters for the light wall for the basement. This significantly exceeds the requirements outlined in the OBC. So while the zoning variance is still required, the livability and safety of the unit have been carefully considered, and the design, as I said before, goes beyond the minimum code standards for that condition. So the variances are minor in the context of the site because the proposal does not enlarge the building envelope or intensify what exists physically today. And it's appropriate because it restores a neglected mixed-use building, and it adds rental housing. It also increases the accessible units, and it maintains the commercial user grade. So for that reason, we would like to respectfully and humbly ask the committee to approve the requested variances.
Okay, we're going to have some questions, I'm sure. I'm just going to kick it off with a few. In going through your variances, you mentioned items 7 and 8. You've only got 6 variances.
So there was a revised.
Well, you're reading from the zoning review, not your application for minor variances before the
Yes, I was referring to the zoning notice, correct?
Okay, because you also mentioned the below grade residential unit was item 6, and it's variance 3. So anyway, I think maybe we've got it all sorted out in our own minds, but it's more useful and helpful to us to refer to the minor variance applications, not items in some other memo. We don't have in front of us what you're talking about. We have your application for 6 variances.
Okay, understood. Yeah, we'll keep that in mind.
Okay, well, are there any other questions or comments?
I have some concerns. So number 4 and number 5, you say that the soft landscaping, which is deficient, is an existing condition. Well, can we improve on that? Because why can't we improve on that? I mean, I've looked at the site and it's completely paved over, both back, side, and front. There's no soft landscaping at all. So how can we make that a better project and a more attractive streetscape on Weston Road?
It is definitely something we can consider. We have to have the conversation with the client. But I guess, yeah, like right now in terms of the requested variances, this is an existing condition at the moment. We could explore that further.
Well, I don't even know if, I don't think you've even got 15% of the lot area is maintained as landscaping. I don't even think you've got that. I think you've got 0 landscaping, soft landscaping. So I'm just bringing that to your attention, and I would really like it if you could rectify that some way.
I think a lot of that space is City Boulevard, actually.
What, did you see the paving?
Yeah.
Side, front, back, it's just being completely paved over.
I hear you with you and don't disagree with you, Ms. Alderson. I'm just wondering about how we could effectively quantify the amount of soft landscaping. I'm not even sure the agent could make a commitment without.
So we actually went over the exercise to calculate the amount of landscaping that we have. So we have hardscaping, it's 15% of the lot area, which equates to 80.37 square meters. And then soft landscaping, that's where we have 0%. We also have the condition where there's an easement with property in the back, and it's the client allows the neighboring property to share that space as a driveway. So
I stand corrected. I think there might be a little patch of dirt on the south side of the building, and I'm just
where the
wondering.
gas meter is.
Yeah, where the gas meter is. I think there might be a little patch of dirt there, and that could be dug up, and, some, cedar trees could go in there. I just wonder, like, can we just improve it a little bit if we're going to go through the process of making this residential again? That little stretch of land, it looks like a tiny stretch of land, but it could actually take maybe 3 or 4, little cedar trees. I don't know.
yeah,
Just
we
a
are
thought.
open to the possibility, and we can definitely explore that further. And we totally agree with your comment.
I'm going to suggest looking at it, looks like there's some newer asphalt, so there was maybe soft landscaping there in the front, and it looks like it was paved over in
For
2021.
For parking.
Yeah, it looks like there was some landscaping there. But anyway, I'd like to see some greenery if we're going to approve this application. That's all.
So that being the case, we would have to spend some time quantifying areas where, he has to know exactly
What we're
you want,
requiring?
what we potentially want.
Well, I don't have,
Like that little piece where the gas
that's
meter
possible.
is.
Something could.
But
be
I've got
done
no idea how long or wide that is. Maybe he does, I don't know.
Maybe that's your 18%.
15, I think.
15.
That's 15, yeah.
I mean, the new
That's
asphalt,
the 15%, is it?
that's
That's
probably
pretty
it.
sad and pathetic if that's the 15%.
The new asphalt, I think, is in the municipal right-of-way, so I don't, that's not,
Listen, I would be delighted if they dug up the side and at least put in some greenery there. That's,
anyway.
I just think we're,
But this all, in my mind, I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying it would all have to be sketched out and accurately measured, and these variances would have to be changed.
I mean, typically you'd get something from planning that would say what they would want for greenery, and, they would ask for a deposit.
I'm totally surprised that urban forestry is not commenting
But
on
they
this.
haven't, well,
They didn't.
It's just all hardscaping. And it's awful.
it's an old commercial strip.
Yeah, well,
Particularly where it's being transitioned to more residential.
residential, exactly. So we can ask better of the applicant. So I'm just putting it out there. So if you could, I don't know how we enforce this.
That's exactly my issue.
At least keep them to the 15. I have a question around housing, rental housing declaration. There was one made originally. Does that need to be resubmitted, or that was done under the original application?
Is the applicant still on the line? Did you ask
Yes.
a question?
So that was made as part of the original application.
No, stand it.
Okay, and that still stands?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you asked the question.
So is that something that you would take back? You're not the owner of this property, you are the agent for the owner, is that correct?
Yes.
Is that something you could take back to the owner and say, look, they want to see some greenery on this property, and there's a little strip of dirt on the south side of the building. Can we do something with that?
But that's not even on their property, that's city land.
No, it is. It's right beside the building.
No, but if you look at the survey, the building is right on the lot line. So
Really?
that little piece of dirt is city dirt.
But they can still look after planting something there, though.
They can, but it
wouldn't-
won't
wouldn't
improve
hurt.
their variance.
It wouldn't hurt. I can't believe that's true. Although they would build right to the lot line. Is that even, like, how did that happen?
Welcome to the 1920s.
It's
a very old building.
Exactly.
Anyway, I'm glad to see that it's being turned into residential stock. I think that's a great idea. I'm not opposed to that. I'd just like to see some green stuff on the
It's
lot
right on the
somewhere.
lot line.
I mean, if you look at the building outline on the location map, it's basically all building.
It's all pavement.
It's all, yeah.
It's all asphalt. That's what I'm saying. It's
And
all
you gotta have
asphalt.
some for vehicles and, anyway. So you're content to leave it with that he takes it back to the owner that we.
Well, I don't,
committee
there's
would very
nothing
much-
that, there's nothing, we can't enforce it. It's
No,
not
but-
enforceable,
But
so.
he could say that would be our strong recommendation to do whatever he could to improve the aesthetics of this and environmental improvements through landscaping.
Yeah.
To whatever extent possible.
Yep.
Committee would very much like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that, particularly when you're trying to attract tenants and you want to increase rental housing and you want to increase housing. It's not going to be very attractive to walk up to a slab of concrete
Good
at the end
point.
of a
Probably
long,
helps
hard day.
the marketability of the property.
For sure.
It benefits him.
For sure.
Sorry to interrupt, but we still have one more person
you're
that needs
kidding.
to speak.
Really?
So, yeah.
I thought we were done.
Oh, I thought we were.
So we haven't had anybody speak yet except for the agent, correct?
Yeah. So
But we do have a neighbor that wants to speak to
I
this.
believe so. I can connect them now. Joe.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Very well.
Hi. Hi. So
Very
my
well,
name is
but how are you?
Joan Ashman. Good,
Sorry,
long
what's
day.
what's your name? What's your name and address?
Joan Ashman. I am the owner of 2 Sykes Avenue. So I'm the property.
And where is
sort
that
of,
from? Where is that relative to this site at Arthur and Weston?
Okay.
Next door.
Oh.
So we sort of we share. We have a mutual driveway.
Okay.
It's a heritage home.
So with his, so just want to let you know that I sort of became aware of this sort of last week. I am a travel nurse and I just came back in town a couple of days ago. So I haven't had an opportunity to sort of look at the whole process. So I just recently became aware of the proposal and really have not had sufficient time to retain, because as I've been here all day, any legal or planning professionals really to review the significant impact on my property, because as I'm looking at it, look as if my property is zoned both commercial and residential. And right now there's 4 apartments in that building. And so we shared a driveway mutually for years, and there has never really been any concern. If there's any concern, we did work together with Nunziato's office. But based on the proposal, I'm going to be down to 1 parking spot. So based on what I've seen so far, being on all day and listening to everybody, this is not a minor variance application. It seems to be more complex. So I'm asking for time, because in my opinion, sort of being naive to all this, there are multiple major deficiencies that I'm looking at, including the reduced setbacks from what I'm hearing. And as I'm listening, I was writing all these things down. The landscaping shortfalls that you guys talk about, my parking concerns, and is the basement, I don't know, is the basement compliant? I'm not quite sure. I would have to get somebody to look into that. So when taking all this into consideration, yes, I understand we need more rental units in the area, but I would like to be given an opportunity to sort of seek advice, especially, and sort of see what my options are, because I'm going from now having parking with a shared driveway to only 1 parking and having been zoned commercial and residential. What was the one do with that? So I do have some concerns.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll ask staff about the appropriateness and adequacy of the public notice here, but
this is a deferred item as well.
Yeah,
So notice would have been sent out
Months
back
ago.
in March and previously as well.
Month and a
This
half.
isn't the first time this item is before
Yeah,
us.
because I'm a travel nurse, so I did not get an electronic component, electronic notification. It so happened by chance that it sort of, thank God I came, he was here, and I found out about it. So I know March 30th, I think, was it was sent out. So I'm just letting you know where I'm at.
But
So I don't know.
Notice
It's
would have been
sort of-
sent out previously as well, because this item was also at a March 12th hearing. So you would have got notice twice.
You would have got notice in February.
I wasn't at the March here. I wasn't at the March hearing because I wasn't in town. I've been traveling since December of 2025.
It's not.
Mr.
And I-
Chair, though,
and-
I'm not sure how this proposal affects her parking because they're not building anything. They're
No.
converting an existing building. So her parking
But,
situation does not change.
It doesn't change, but from what looking at his survey, and I have to make sure I have to get my survey and make sure that we're both on the same page. That there's going to be where I'm going to lose because we had a shared driveway, so we can use it both coming in and out, kind of thing. But now with his proposal, I won't have any parking at all. The only parking I would have is only at one end of the home.
But you're not entitled to any more.
But what does it mean, shared driveway?
Well, that's a civil matter you're going to have to work out with the other owner. We can't impose something. We can't impose something.
Yeah, there's all these questions that I need to have legal sort of ask the right questions, to the professionals. Well, I'm just a lay person. I don't understand half of these language. It's just as I'm listening all day, I'm writing these things down.
Well, I guess from where we sit, I think you've had plenty of time to engage professional help on this. We can't sort of hold your hands and walk you through things that you don't understand.
I'm not asking you to, of course not. I'm just showing my hand.
Sorry, ma'am, we're not going to extend this and give you time to. We're not going to defer this to enable you to gain the amount of understanding that you need. I believe you've had sufficient time to understand, to whatever degree you need to understand this. You've had plenty of time. Could have hired somebody, whatever your travel issues, work issues. You could have got somebody else involved. It's a little late in the day to consider a request to not deal with this application because you need more information. I'm sorry.
Have you reached out to the owner?
No, we're going to be reaching out to the owner.
I'm wondering if she's
Oh, if
reached
she
out.
has.
Have you reached
Have you
out?
have you spoken to the owner?
Yeah, I've spoken to the owner. We've always been civil. We'll continue to be civil. I don't mind. I agree with him. Years and years ago, with the original owner, that part of my shed was on his property, and we left it there for years. I've been there since 2002. So there was a very civil understanding. The only concern I have is that I want to make sure, when I do the survey, I make sure everything is okay, that there has to be somewhere, if I'm able to put a fence up, to divide the area. So at least, because I have concerns, because I had to engage Nunziata and the police, because people from his building, was literally coming and voiding on the front of my home. So that's what I'm concerned about. So I want to make sure that there's some sort of division between him and myself. So his people, the commercial and his tenants that's going to be there, is not going to sort of use my yard as the toilet. And he knows that's what's happened in the past.
Those are things that you continue to negotiate with him in a civil way, and I mean civil in legal terms. That building is not changing, okay? That gray wall you're looking at right now, that's not changing. If you've got issues between you did state, and we just confirmed in the survey, you've built a shed on his property. It's nice that he hasn't complained about that.
I didn't feel it. I got it. It came to the home, and we knew about it. We talked about it, and we said until such time it doesn't matter. We just leave it as is. So we've been doing that for years, and it was never an issue. We've always been civil.
Good. Well, count on that continuing, and sort out any issues that you have about fences and everything else with him. But I'm just concerned that we're really delaying a planning decision here that does not affect you. Because the building, that's there is not changing. It's not getting any bigger. It's not getting any taller. It's not getting any closer to your property. That's the building.
Get a little greener.
Oh, yeah, hopefully it'll get a
It's
bit
just a
greener.
park, yeah.
But in terms of a fence and shed and everything else that you need to sort out with them, good luck.
Okay.
But we're
All
not
right.
we're
I
not
guess
we're not
I'm
we're
not-
not addressing issues like that. Strictly planning issues.
Fair enough. I'm just speaking my.
Yeah, no,
my
here,
husband
okay,
might
then, no,
think-
fair enough.
Yeah.
And you're new to this
Yeah.
kind of a process.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you
Okay.
understand, but we're confident that this has been in the public domain for long enough that we can proceed comfortably with
Some sort of event.
a decision. Or February, probably, when
Okay.
the notice went out. Yeah, so anyway, okay, so thank you. I'm gonna ask the agent to come back online and just talk about, well, we call it a rebuttal, but he's gonna discuss and tell us what he thinks about outstanding issues that he has with you. Okay? So why don't you just listen in? Okay, ma'am?
So, yeah.
Oh,
So
you-
hi,
okay.
thank you for voicing your concern. My understanding is that the relationship between the client, the owner of the building, and the neighboring property, which is 2 Syke Avenue, has always been civil. There is a verbal agreement that the school at a driveway that has been respected, and I guess the proposal, as the committee of adjustment member said, and we said earlier in the presentation, does not involve any enlargement of the building. So I'm confident that the relationship with the building that you have right now is not going to change. If anything, the site is just going to get nicer, and you're going to have nicer neighbors.
I hope so.
Beautiful.
It's going to get greener.
Great way to end the day.
It ain't over yet.
Over here. Okay, so any final questions or comments for the agent before we go into committee? No? We're good? Okay, then let's go into committee and make a motion to make a final decision on this application. There are no conditions in the event approval is desired.
Yeah, I'll be willing to move approval. I believe it's desirable and meets the 4 tests, and certainly is desirable from the perspective of obtaining more housing. And as you had mentioned, there are no conditions.
Okay, so that's your motion.
Just a recommendation.
Well, yeah, to maintain some amount of green space where
As
possible.
much as possible.
As much as possible.
Sure. Be it on the property or be it on the city boulevard.
Well, that's not a condition, but
It's not a condition.
Not a condition.
Recommendation.
Just a recommendation.
I'll second
You're gonna
that.
second that
Yeah, I'll
motion?
second that motion, yeah.
Okay, all in favor? That is unanimously approved. I think that was a worthwhile discussion on that.
Laura.
And now.
Oh, my God.
I am.
I've been dying to make this
I'm
for the last
requesting a
3
motion
hours.
to adjourn this meeting.
Yes, you were going to get it now. I'm making a motion to adjourn at 7:14 PM.
There you go, all in favor? We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
It's bedtime.